Okay. Now, yes.
So, the scariest thing for me was to come up without preparation.
I like that. Say something from your unpreparedness. Not even that you have to even say, actually.
It seems like the moment is complete as it is.
It seems like at this moment things are complete as they are. Like this, you say?
The mind says something about needing to surrender, but if I don't listen to the mind,
what is more important is to find out to whom it is speaking, and even the one who says, if I don't listen, you must have a clear understanding of what that is. Gradually, the power, the potency of this question is going to emerge in you. I never really go to what the man is saying, this, that. I don't pick up on that. But to whom is it speaking? That is important. You see? Because whether it is speaking nonsense or wisdom, to whom is it speaking is what is more important. If you feel it's speaking to me and it's telling me that tomorrow I'm going to lose my job and I'm so worried and stuff, it is already qualified who it is speaking to. You see? Who you take yourself to be. Even the very fact that you mention that the mind is speaking, in a way indicate where you've located yourself. Does anybody pick up on what I'm speaking about this? Yes. Just by, the mind is speaking, then it means that it is significant enough for you to mention that. And if it is significant enough, because then somehow it has framed you, or you've framed yourself into a certain identity, the one that is usually the counterpart for the mind. The mind is talking, you see. Yeah, mind is saying that I need to surrender myself, but if I don't listen to him, then blah, 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 sounds fine. But who are you? In either case, whether you listen or don't listen, who are you? Try to just to see, because if you clarify that now, then you may find that next time mind tries to say something, it doesn't go anywhere. It just evaporates before it gets even registered, because there's nothing there to deliver this to. There's nothing there to receive the mind's voice. Only the one who, in some way, will be moving in a certain earnestness and sincerity, who sees that this is not just, you have not been given some souvenir, but a door to your inmost being, and who stay there in this place. Then, as you sit, initially your mind might say, look, nothing is happening. Huh? Zmar is gone, nothing is happening. And if something doesn't take that bite somehow, or something wants to take that bite, but it is seen, but that is just phenomenal now. I know this. I stay here. And then, like taking a Polaroid picture, you see nothing, and gradually something emerges. Within your being, something will begin to move and emerge. Some intuitive joy, a sensing that you'll know, yes, thank you. I'm just here, and somehow, just this, it's fine. So this self-questioning is more important than questioning phenomena. Who sees this one? Yes, yeah. Because phenomena is always going to be changing. The phenomena is always going to be changing. Sometimes even while you're investigating it, it's gone already, but you're perpetuating it through memory and holding it. You see, if you stay in your heart, everything becomes a writing on water. Not because you're afraid. You're not afraid of the phenomena world, actually. In fact, your presence is going to be blessing the phenomenal world. It's going to transform it into the Garden of Eden for you. Not by fantasy. Or you can say it is all God's fantasy, God's imagining, God's creative power, our creativity is also acting upon what we see. And through our own seeing and clarity, you'll make a better world, in fact. If you clarify your world inside through the clarity of your universal consciousness, then somehow it will become just the norm in a way, that wherever you go, automatically blessing something just by presence without going, I bless you, I bless you, I bless you. Your very presence has become like that. Because always your mind is established in the self. There's never any doubt. There's not even, you cannot even believe in the self. You can only be. The self cannot be seen by you. Not in that way, not as an object. And yet you are seeing it. Why are you seeing it? Because it is a subject perceiving the subject. Your mind has not caught up yet what has happened. They say that one time in the war with with America and Japan or something many years ago, and that somehow a group of Japanese soldiers went on an island and they dug themselves in, and they were on the island waiting for the Americans. Anything American come by, even a bird, they're waiting. And they become so skilled to live in the bush, they could stay there months and months and months. Then the great war came to an end. The treaty of peace is signed by the generals and everything. The whole nation's going to, hey, peace at last, peace at last. They're celebrating the end of the war. But the news didn't reach these guys. So for them, the war is still on. So the news came to the generals and they said, oh, no, we must go and find them now to tell them, guys, it's okay, calm down, the war is finished. So some people did go and says, hey, They thought, these guys are tricksters. They're trying to trick us. Guys, the war is finished. Look, I'm Japanese. Okay? But gradually they got it. They were not getting any crossfire. Nothing is coming. They said, you think the war is really finished? Should we take the risk to come out? You see? The war is over. When you're here, the war is over. When you're here, you choose. And you experience also. You experience also, isn't it? Because for a while you still have to live with this. For a while there's peace. These soldiers have returned home, but they're not parting with their gun. Just in case. So it will take time, gradually, transformation, change. Depending upon the strength of your conditioning. It is said that a big ship turns slowly. If you have very strong ideas, strong concepts, you will turn slowly, adapt very slowly. Where everybody is celebrating you still. I know every character I tell you about I've met, okay? Very good. So you follow my point, what I was pointing to? That it's not just what's appearing in the mind that you must try and fix, but to whom is it appearing? That is more important. Because we are perceiving what we are conceiving. Whatever you believe becomes your experience. Even if the thing does not exist in actuality, you will actualize it. You will believe it into existence, and it will become your experience. And then you're going to have to believe some contrary thought to tackle. So 2 false thoughts. Yeah. I said if you step on a thorn, it breaks off in your foot. Very painful. But you may have to use another thorn to take out the first piece. And when you take out the first piece, you can throw both of them away.
The inquiry part, I connected with right away when I got exposed to you 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But it seems like you mentioned the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. So this, every time Mr. Hyde comes around, Dr. Jekyll is doing the inquiry to try to figure out, and even now, it's seen that this Dr. Jekyll is part of, but returning to silence seems impossible.
Yes.
And you say...
You must not identify with either Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. Both are phenomenal, and then you're starting already, you see, in a kind of phenomenal thing. You see, you're looking, just be looking, you see. If this can be seen, you see, it's clear that the seer is apart from it. Well, it's connected to it, but it's not in the bubble of the thing seen. You see? I give an example. A sharp knife, it can cut many things. Piece of paper, it can cut. It doesn't even need a hard surface against which to cut. It can cut so many things, but it cannot cut itself. isn't it? Because it is one. It can only cut other. Okay? Or the tongue can taste so many flavors, but it cannot taste itself. The eyes can see so many forms, but they cannot see themselves directly. Cannot do it, because it is one. Or I say a scale can weigh so many objects, but it cannot weigh itself. All this is for other. You, being the self, cannot see the self. You can see from the self. You can see the ideas about the self. You can see self-image, but self-image is not the self. You see? So that is the first great discernment, that what I'm looking at cannot be really what I am. You see? It cannot be the seer. Later, when the knowledge integrates into wholeness, you will see that all this is the one, perceiving the one. That all of these talks and these dialogues are all a monologue. Consciousness is speaking to consciousness about consciousness. But when you are Mr. So-and-so, and this one is Miss So-and-so, and this one is Mistress So-and-so, then it is like very many different discussions are taking place, and disagreements, and agreements, and treaties, and all of these things are happening. But when you see from the unified field of universal consciousness, you understand in your heart that it is all consciousness expressing to consciousness about consciousness. Yet at the same time, you can allow the diverse, unique expressions of each thing to play, because you have solved the code, you have cracked the code that however diverse the field of phenomena is, it has the same one DNA as consciousness. You'll understand that not just theoretically, but you'll understand that experientially by grace. And somehow the way you move in life will radiate, that quintessence will be radiating through your presence. You don't have to say it. But somehow it is being communicated from you. Because that is your soul light, not just your mind light only. We are very intuitive beings. You may not be aware of it. And if you think a lot, think, you're still an intuitive being, but you're not accessing your intuition. We don't trust it, you see. We've been brought up too much in condition, so that, you always go through your conditioning. So your beauty doesn't come out so beautiful, you see. You're more like a kind of human robot. You're very predictable, and a human being should not be so predictable. Reliable, but predictable, not good. You see? In your natural state, you cannot predict your own movement. It's so spontaneous, it's so fresh. And yet, does it mean you never plan? No, plan is coming when plan is needed. Everything happens in accordance with their, appropriateness. It comes. What can judge what is appropriate? Well, there's no fixed rules. But in the moment, it arises inside with a resonance, a synchronicity, informs you, it is fine, it is go, if you want to speak like that. But it is happening naturally, everything is happening naturally. So does it sound confusing? No, because I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you how it is unfolding. If you have to be told what to do, you're already overwhelmed. You see? Because if I tell you, listen, in order to be free, you have to stop smoking. Already I give you a big burden. You see? So, you love your cigarette so much. Oh my God. Why I have to do this, to do that, and that. See? And yet we're reading so much self-help books. and so many how to do and techniques about life and learning how to breathe to this idea. It is fine because some of these books are helpful if behavior is something you want to understand a bit more. But I don't know if you really understand, because these things are not for understanding at a mental level so much. They get expressed in the harmonized field very naturally. Okay, enough about that. Thank you. We don't have time.